Pragmatism and resilience aren't usually words you'd associate with high-end fashion, but that was before the Covid-19 pandemic. In recent weeks, designers and labels around the world have been adapting to a new normal. In Beirut, over lockdown, fashion house Tony Ward has turned its back on luxury gowns, instead focusing efforts on producing masks and protective wear.
The economic situation in Lebanon these days is truly awful.
It's catastrophic, but we could see it coming. I'd already experienced something similar when I lived in Russia for a number of years. I had my showrooms there when the ruble collapsed. So I've seen all this before, and I'm trying to adapt. I know that there are other markets we can rely on for support. Actually, we've just received our first international order in a week from Korea. It's a big order. Evening gowns. Business is starting up again, providing we don't fall prey to a second wave.
This global pandemic had an influence on the creative work you do?
Needs have changed. Weddings are no longer weddings for 500 or 1,000 people. As for our American clients, it's an election year. Usually with an election year, we'd have a lot of work. There's a lot of cash in the US. But now everything's changed. We're more focusing on creating clothes that they can wear at home. I'm expanding my offering to include more choice. Of course, we still have what we were doing before, that's still on offer, but we also need to be able to offer other things now.
Here in France, meanwhile, young label Atelier Bartavelle turned its back on the demands and inherent wastefulness of seasonal collections long ago. The pair behind the label champion the use of artisanal savoir-faire in their ready-to-wear collections.
In Greek, a crisis means making a decision. It's about the key moment where everything has to be decided immediately. It's a key moment for thinking about the future, a moment to state who we are and how we want to act. We need to persevere with and improve upon what we're doing. That's really what we concluded.
From their Marseille workshop, the pair create unique items. The pandemic only reinforced their conviction that sourcing locally is the way to go. They're also keen advocates of collaboration.
What's interesting about these swimming costumes is that they're made from an eco-wave fabric. It's made in Barcelona from fibers recycled from plastic bottles that have been cleaned up from the Mediterranean Sea. Our latest project, which will be coming out in September, is a series of clothes made in collaboration with the artistic duo Al Fresco. We're talking unisex shirts and overshirts that are essentially paintings you can wear. They're made and painted by hand in Marseille. They're made of French linen and the ink is solvent-free.
From the Mediterranean now to Taiwan. For 15 years, Frenchman Jean-François Nicolai has been travelling across Asia in a bid to share the best of contemporary Asian fashion with the Western market. These days, he's based in Taipei.
Taipei never went into lockdown. Boutiques stayed open, as did department stores. Life carried on as if nothing had changed. The Taiwanese experienced SARS 15 years ago. So when the pandemic emerged in China, they implemented precautions immediately. I was delighted. I feel really safe here.
But Taiwan's borders are closed, and that means no access to the Chinese market. Umbrella label DYCTeam is developing new products.
They started with what's called a select shop. They selected a number of designers, including, for example, Comme des Garçons, and they opted for something more like the Japanese model, where retailers develop their own labels in-house. Right now, the niche created by DYCTeam is really interesting because they're capitalizing on the most significant aspect of Taiwanese industry, that is, functional textiles. Among these textiles, you have some really impressive innovation right now. For example, they use recycled oysters directly within the fabric, which makes it totally waterproof, but breathable at the same time.
Another Taiwanese pearl comes in the form of Justin XX. Justin specializes in cross-pollinating labels. These trainers are comprised of recycled elements of both Converse and Nike. This shirt is made from Levi's labels, while luxury bags become clocks or bum bags.
A local supplier, a local fabric factory will be more important for the local designers. Everything from China, Europe, Japan, the materials was postponed this month. So we have to use the stock. Now we have to work more with the local suppliers to create new fabrics. The future will be much more interesting, not so globalized. Everything will be localized. That will be more interesting for me. Yeah.
A tale of sartorial innovation in the face of adversity from Beirut to Taipei via Marseille. Proof, if you needed it, that fashion isn't taking this pandemic lying down.